Hello, Leos, and welcome to your December 2021 reading. This is a general reading, so be sure to take what resonates and leave the rest. And if you want a more well-rounded perspective, go ahead and check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. Other than that, let's go ahead and begin. The first card I have, as far as getting a sense for the vibes of the month, we have the Friends. Oh, so this is coming, it's all about, it feels like it's all about connections. Connection with people who really kind of make you feel an internal sense of joy and wholeness, that brings out that inner light and brightness in a way that other people not only don't succeed in bringing out, but also take pleasure in helping you to bring out. And I do feel that there is a connection with spirit as well as represented in this card. So it's not just those who you know and commune with and communicate with on a regular basis in your physical, tangible life, but this is also tapping in a little bit with that element of spiritual connection that really seems to brighten something within your soul. This is the connection that I'm talking about. This is something that's going to be running as a theme through the month of December. And there is a heavy call. I feel like the spirit aspect is a heavy call. So whatever practice that you have currently, I would say maybe check into it as far as how you can deepen that spirit connection, how you can feed that light, so to speak, or find ways to really be nurturing that light to be brighter, to glow a little bit more for you and nurturing you from its glow. But there's definitely connection on a soul level, and it can include the physical as well as the spiritual. But ultimately, whether it's physical or spiritual, it does feed you on a spiritual level. We have the Queen of Wands here. This is coming in strong with grandmother energy. So that matriarch setting of the family line. You know how whenever we have strong families, we have usually the glue is the mother or the grandmother, depending on the family and how large it is. But this is coming in strong with grandmother energy. I feel like you are going to feel that connection or that presence, or the desire to feel that presence. And that, again, does not mean, this is tapping in a little bit what I already said with this card, doesn't necessarily mean it has to connect with someone who is in the tangible world. It may be a grandmother who has already transitioned, but there just feels like there is a call to connect with grandmother or the grandmother of your family. So if you are someone who you are old enough that you're almost at grandparent age, and therefore your mother or your grandmother has long since passed, there's a really good chance this might be a message for you specifically to connect with your mother who is a grandmother, or to connect with the idea of being grandmother. Maybe it's time for you to step up as the matriarch, as the grandmother figure. But I do feel like this is also coming in strong for those of you who do have grandmothers who have transitioned, and connecting with them for wisdom, that ancient wisdom that really kind of creates that, like I said, that glue within the family that the matriarch usually provides, keeping everybody together and manifesting, creating that energy that sets the tone for family gatherings, for family connections. You know, that energy that comes from the matriarch as far as setting the environment that everybody communes or convenes to or comes to. So this is coming in really strong. However this applies to you, whether you need to be reaching out and connecting with your grandmother on a physical level or connecting with them in the transition state, there's definitely a call with that. And for some of you, that also implies connecting with that crone or that inner grandmother energy that you already have within yourself, that you need to bring out because the family is in need of it. And you are the one who can essentially bring that forward. We have the Knight of Athens. It's the next card. This feels very much that it's speaking about someone in particular, a very specific someone in the family who has been out of sorts. So this is coming in strong as teenage boy. And that overall sense of how they go through their own transitions in those teenage years, and how that can manifest as far as aggression or charging into things or the chaos or the destruction, lacking the mental wisdom, so to speak, as far as how to approach the scenarios or situations that they may be facing. But this is coming in strong. This may even be why this particular card is coming through. The wisdom that you were wishing or desiring for this particular person or situation, it may be found within this grandmother figure, whether that person is physically in your life to ask for that advice, or you need to commune with on a spirit level for that advice, for that wisdom. But definitely a little bit of a connection there as far as how to handle this particular person. And for some of you, this might mean it's not you specifically. You don't necessarily have someone in your life that this fits, as far as it's not really your son or grandson or whatever the case may be, but maybe it's someone that you know, and you do feel a certain sort of connection. You do feel a certain sort of matriarchal connection over, because you can see the destructive behaviors, and your heart kind of goes out to them. And so I feel like for some of you, this is just advice as far as how to handle the situation, if that applies. And for other of you, that this particular situation applies to your life, it's just validation. Maybe you are having suspicions about a particular person that has entered into your life, maybe via a friend of one of your children, or a friend of one of your nieces and nephew, or maybe it's your niece or nephew, or whatever that case may be. I feel like for those of you, this is also kind of a validation for that suspicion. If you were kind of worried, I think that person might be a little bit more troubled than first appearances may apply. I feel like that this message is coming in strong for validation for that, and then take the cautions that you may need for protection for whoever that particular person may be involved with. But overall, there is an overall sense of this particular person who's going to be kind of coming in with this like rush or flash of speed and chaos, and there's a potential overall there's a chaos energy that comes with it. Someone who doesn't particularly think whenever they act, and the troubles that may come from it. For those of you who don't have young boys in your life, and that doesn't apply in that regard, there is a select few of you that there's a potential lover who has entered in with that same sort of energy and chaos that may feel enticing. And, there's just a little bit of a message to maybe take a step back and evaluate the situation. And if you decide that you still want to take the risks, then obviously free will exists and you can. But this is sort of a message for you. So however that applies to you in your life specifically, take it however you can and or will. We have the Lord and the Lady. This is coming in strong, and I feel like this is going to be a theme for the month of December. Just that connection, that nature connection, that connection of balance, that connection of bringing things together. This is coming in hard with Yule vibes. Now, it's not so much that this particular card is set with Yule or the Yule environment, but for me, this is coming in strong with Yule because of that connection of the male and female, that connection of being together, that connection of building something together, and where it can lead. It's really touching me when I see this imagery, and I see the nature that's in this particular card, and I see the connection between the male and the female. I'm just getting that connection that you feel when you spend time together with loved ones during specific celebrations and traditions. I think that's probably the other thing that I'm getting, is that love for tradition that you just see emanating from this when you consider that connection with nature and the male and the female, the balance, the tree, which could be attributed to the world tree that's in a lot of myth and lore. Overall, it's just, I'm getting that kind of the overall sense of connecting, and how it relates to Yule celebration, and how it can feed you and make you feel more balanced. This can also be as far as your connection with spirit and how that makes you feel more balanced. So if you haven't decided on a Yule celebration. If you actually observe the wheel of the year and you haven't really decided whether or not you're going to do something this particular Yule, I feel like you're being told from this that you should be doing something for Yule for you on a spiritual connection, to really kind of connect with the wheel of the year, to really kind of connect with this particular Sabbath and the energy that it can provide as far as endings and new beginnings, when you are looking at it from the perspective of the season of darkness transitioning to the season of light. There's also the healing perspective of getting back to nature, getting back to the old, and that may include, for some of you, I feel a lot of you, getting back to that old feeling that you would get in the connection from celebrations at this time of the year. Even if you haven't done rituals in a long time from a Christmas perspective, but your family does, connecting to that energy and celebrating those sorts of traditions and how they feed us on some level, they center us on some level, but that's what that's coming in strong with. Finally, we have go with the flow. And I feel that overall, this is a message is, as you move through the month of December, don't put too much thought into it, in the sense that don't overanalyze, don't spend time thinking and rehashing where you're at and what you should and shouldn't be doing. Take the message, especially if you took these messages because you were looking for some answers. Take them at face values, put them in your pocket, pull them out when they apply, but don't pull them out all the time. You know, you can carry around a lighter, let's say, you can carry around a lighter because you might need it at some point to light something, but you don't take it out all the time. You don't always have it in your hand. You don't always feel the need to be playing or messing with it. This is the sort of sense, you know, you can apply that with a pocket knife. You can have a pocket knife in your pocket. It doesn't mean that you need to take it out all the time. You have it in your pocket if you need it, you know, whether you just cut an apple or whatever the case may be. It's there for when you need it, but you don't have to keep pulling it out and looking at it to reassure yourself that it's there, to reassure yourself about how it may work or may not work, or how you could use it. That's not the purpose of having it in your pocket. The same applies with this message, and the same applies with any other messages that you feel that you've been receiving entering into the month of December and moving through the month of December. Essentially, take those messages and put them in your pocket, and when it's time to use them, you'll remember that that's there for you to pull out. But other than that, leave it in there. You don't need to be stressing too much. You don't need to be hashing and analyzing these. You just need to go with the flow. The biggest thing, if you do want to consider, is maybe planning a Yule ritual, but even then, whatever ritual, ceremony, celebration, or whatever that may be that you might want to plan, don't hash it out. Go with the flow. Allow yourself to really be open to the intuitive aspect, your intuitive connection, and allow that to guide you as you move through the month of December. All right, Leo, that is all I have for you for this month. I hope this reading has been everything that you were hoping for and more. Be sure to check out your sun, moon, and rising for a more well-rounded perspective, and I will see you in a future video.